So hello everybody, welcome to Filmpreneur Cohort webinar number 2. Okay, so this is crazy because we spent, geez, I don't know how long we spent getting ready for Filmpreneur 1, where we just finished. We had 4 really intense weeks online together, learning together with modules that we've developed, but also really connecting on a weekly basis on webinars. And there's something really interesting about developing community online on webinars and whatnot. You don't actually get to meet people in the flesh, but you're still able to share ideas and thoughts with each other. And then when you get to meet each other in person, let's say in a place like Playa Viva, Mexico, for 4 days in this beautiful eco resort and this place where there's no distractions except for being connected to like-minded professional storytellers, then magic happens. And we're going to go into that. So we just finished Cohort 1 of Filmpreneur. And in a few minutes, don't worry, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what Filmpreneur is. But it was so powerful that, and the connections that we made there were so strategic even, that we said, we have to do this immediately again. And Zav, who just got off an airplane a few minutes ago, he's one of my brothers, and one of the folks that was there is like, Greg, I've got the Evokes content camp coming up in Yosemite. Why don't we do this together, like share space together and create magic together? So wow, we are like totally in the throes of it again. As soon as we got home, starting to market it, starting to design it, and we've got Cohort beta number 2 coming up. We're only doing 2 betas. That's it. After this, in the fall, we're going full force, full launch. So right now is the time, if after this webinar, if you're interested in moving forward with us, now is probably going to be the most cost-effective time to get involved with this community and with this training program, as we're still ironing out the kinks and having a lot of fun doing it. So let me just get started with, well, I just want to start with why. You know, why does Filmpreneur exist? And I almost want to tell you why it exists before I tell you what it even is, okay? So a lot of you on here, I'm seeing a ton of participants here. A lot of you know exactly what Filmpreneur is. Some of you actually were on the first cohort, which is awesome. Some of you have no idea. Maybe you've seen annoying Instagrams or Facebooks of these beautiful pictures of Mexico and all these people talking about really cool things. You're like, what the heck are they doing? Well, I'm going to tell you, but not until I press mute for 1 second and cough. Nice. That hardly took any time out of the presentation. We are creating a movement. So I want to get serious here for a second. We are living in a day and age of story wars right now. And really, as somebody who has been put on this earth to promote peace and to help promote a state of joy and kindness and respect, I see what's happening in the world today politically and socially is very disturbing. It feels like we enjoyed a really amazing run of progressive evolution throughout my adult years, and in the last couple of years, or last year specifically, we've really seen the misuse and the abuse of story, and at the same time, as a parallel, we've also really seen the misuse of capitalism, and we've seen how the word, even capitalism, almost has a slimy negative tone to it now, doesn't it? Now, there's 2 things that I personally believe heavily in. I believe in the power of story. I believe that story can be used for incredible powers of positivity, but also for the opposite. I also believe in capitalism. I am a social capitalist, if there is such a thing. And I'm going to go into this in a couple seconds where I talk about what the love economy is, but I believe in the power of business and free markets, if you will, using fair trade of goods and services for capital to create, in a loving way, I should say, in a way that isn't harming the planet and isn't exploiting people. Those are my beliefs. They always have been. I've been trying my best to grow a company that does the same. So think about this. I believe in business and I believe in storytelling. As a filmmaker, I own a company called Hemmings Pictures, which is a film production company. We work with a ton of great corporations, companies that really care about their people, companies that care about the planet, et cetera, et cetera. So for us, we're kind of touching both those places. We're helping good companies grow by helping them share their message and their story, but we're also telling our original stories as documentary filmmakers that is really adding to the positive narrative in what I'm calling the story wars. And by the way, I did not coin the word story wars. Jonas Sack did, and he does wrote this amazing book called Story Wars. Please read it. Check it out. You can buy it on Amazon. I don't know Jonah, but I know his people from Free Range out of San Francisco. Zav, you might know those folks, you being a San Fran original. Anyway, an amazing book, but we literally are living this time. So over the last few years, as a B Corp, as a member of the Social Venture Network, and as somebody who's getting connected to other filmmakers and creative storytellers who care about the same things that I do, I'm like, we've got a movement here. We've got a responsibility to accelerate this movement of passionate storytellers and passionate entrepreneurs and business owners who believe in a loving capitalism. And this is where Filmpreneur is. And if what I'm saying right now does not resonate with you, Filmpreneur is probably not for you. You might be a filmmaker doing amazing things in story, but really don't really have a heart for using story or business for positive social change. That's okay. This is not for you. You'll probably come and groan and roll your eyes, and that's totally cool. What Filmpreneur is an accelerator, if you will, a peer-to-peer learning experience, a community, and a movement that is committed to helping either film companies or professional storytelling companies or entrepreneurs. That could be writing, you could be a musician, you could be a graphic designer, a marketer, a filmmaker. If we can help those powerful artists make a solid living for themselves so they can be sustainable, so they can also create positive social impact in the world, that's what Filmpreneur is about. And I got to tell you, I am not a pro at building business, but I've been doing it for 20 years. I've been on the front lines, and I've created a lot of battle scars, So over those years, I've also had the opportunity to mentor a lot of earlier startup filmmakers and professional storytellers to a point where I was like, wow, I'm spending a number of hours a month mentoring people on this stuff, talking about this philosophy. Why don't we package it up and turn it into an online course, an online community, and a series of events that brings people together? And let me fast forward to the second bullet that I had when I said, explain the love economy platform. Everything I just talked about is the love economy. The love economy is, as far as the words are concerned, I did a TEDx talk about 2 years ago, and I called it the love economy. And it's interesting because I'm going to keep referencing Zav. You're going to meet him in a few minutes. Excuse me. Zav was visiting me from San Francisco and here in St. John, and he was here when I was writing the speech for my TEDx. And Zav really helped me craft the message of what the love economy was. And over our discussions, we're like, if the economy is neutral, let's say the economy is not evil or good, the economy is just a platform. It's a platform like an operating system for us to work on, right? Good or evil can play on it, just like the dark web, for example. Dark web isn't necessarily evil. It's just a place where evil things can happen or good things can happen. Same was the economy. What I wanted to say is, in this movement of B Corps, social venture networks, social enterprises, not-for-profits, volunteerism, all this good stuff that's happening in the world, that's a building off of the platform of the love economy. And love is in direct contrast to another powerful force. Try to think of what that force is, that other powerful force. If love is one side of the economy, what's the other? Some of you might say greed, and I would agree, but not completely. Love is the opposite force of fear. And I think it's a very, very simple concept. When we think about fear of scarcity, fear of, why is it that we go to war? Why is it that we're mean to other people? Why does bullying exist? It's because we're lacking something ourselves. We're afraid of having our power taken away from us, So when we think about scarcity, why do we want more stuff in our lives? Why do we want more money than our neighbor? Why? I don't know. I think it's because of fear. It's not because we're greedy people. It's because we are fight or flight. And this is going to tie in a little bit later on to what we're going to be doing in Yosemite and talking about how storytelling can actually trigger different parts of our brain that are either triggering our fight or flight or triggering a different part of our brain that's actually motivating us to create a better, kinder, more positive world. And my friend Zav is going to be talking about that in a few minutes as I pull him in. So this is all really exciting stuff. So when I talk about the love economy here, folks, there's nothing weird about it. It's just very business. It's business talk. Are we making loving decisions when we make our businesses? Are we making loving decisions as consumers as we spend our money? What are we doing with our dollars? Are we spending money on companies that are doing bad things in the world? Or are we spending money on companies that are doing good? And it sounds like I'm getting verklempt. I'm actually holding back a cough. Elaine told me just to swallow. Or how about this? I'll take a glass of water. So refreshing. Acamac water. Okay, so going through this, we're going to go through this quite quickly because I really want to open this up to discussion afterwards. There's really no point in going through the agenda because we're just going to blow through it. I've got a few amazing guests who are going to come on. So all three of them were filmpreneurs on the first cohort. And here's what really makes me excited about this thing that we're building. This is not a Greg Hemmings teaching you stuff. Yes, there's a part of that because I've got experience. But hey, I learned a ton from the participants of Filmpreneur. What I am seeing with this network as it builds is we are learning from each other. Not only that, we had 15 people only. I was only able to bring 15 people down to Playa Viva, Mexico. So that means we only ran 15 people through the first cohort. So many business connections have happened between those 15 already. And that's 2 weeks ago. It's insane seeing the collaboration that's happening already. Can you imagine when we have 1,500 filmpreneurs, storytellers who care about the same stuff, that want to work with each other and make the world a better place? I mean, it's time right now. We do not have time to wait to make this thing happen, okay? Can you hear the urgency in my voice? That's not the cough. That's actually the urgency you're hearing right here. What I'd like you to do, and don't worry, I'm going to record this. I think I'm recording this. Good Lord. Yeah, I am recording. I hope I am. Anyway, I'm just going to double check. Listen, if I'm not recording, so be it. It's on Facebook.
You're recording.
Oh, I love you, Zav. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. I'm still a bit of a Zoom newbie. What I want you to do is write this down. If you're not on the larger Filmpreneur Facebook group yet, just go to facebook.com/filmpreneur, okay? Find it, just get on there. There's not a ton of stuff there yet, but there will be. Any announcements are going to go in there. The magic actually happens on our private Facebook group, which once you become a filmpreneur, you get into, and some really rich discussion and relationships are building in there. But the first step is please hook yourself into the Filmpreneur Facebook page. The newsletter, if you're not there yet, filmpreneur.net, please do go there. Sign up for the newsletter, and that's going to be another direct place. Anytime we have an event, whether it's a love economy event, we just had one in Boston last Friday. We had one in New York a couple months ago. In fact, I was supposed to have one tonight in Vancouver, a love economy opening at the Sustainable Brands Conference, but because I'm so sick, I couldn't get onto an airplane and go. I'm heartbroken, but I'm here with you right now, which is freaking awesome. One other place for you to keep up to date, and I'm gonna keep this far more up to date as time goes on, is my Medium, which is medium.com/@GregHemmings. You can find it there pretty easily. And if you want to feel the energy of what happened in Mexico, just go to Instagram and do a hashtag search for Filmpreneur. There's a lot of fun stuff. And Ali Beckwith just sent me a note that she edited a video that she shot when she was down there. I didn't even know she was filming. I'm super excited to see what that is. So there's all this content coming out from our first experience. And I really want the folks who are on here, we got, like I said, a ton of people here. If we've got way more people on this webinar right now than we can fit on the next cohort. But if most of you can come, oh my gosh, this is going to be like, I don't get excited about much stuff outwardly, but this is getting me excited right now. What's in this webinar for you? Forget it. Let's just keep on going because I think that part is clear. We talked about creating a movement. Now, what about the community? We touched on this a little bit. What is it? You know, I'm going to blast through these bullet points, but then I think it's really important for me to bring in my my 3 testimonials. So Filmpreneur community right now, I mean, it's large. It's like everybody who's in my network, who believes in this stuff. You've been seeing us putting on love economy events. You've been seeing us connecting with the B Corp communities, social venture network communities, the Evokes television, Evokes camp, Evokes life communities. This is our community. But when we're talking about specific professional storytellers who are really trying to up their entrepreneurial game, this is the silo. This is the part of the love economy platform that we're building here right now. And I got to tell you, if the first cohort of 15 is any indication of what the future is going to look like, we are all in very good hands. Seriously, we just got to blow this thing out. The film community consists of e-learning. There's a bunch of modules that we put up. Those modules are going to continue to evolve forever, which means as long as I'm alive making content, I'm going to continue growing that. Once you become part of the Filmpreneur community, once you're in, you're in. So you can keep on coming back to the Filmpreneur 101 course and learn whatever the new stuff is that comes in. We have events. We just had the Mexico event. We're going to have one again that we're going to tell you about here in Yosemite coming up very soon. We're going to have one in St. John pretty soon as well. There's a whole bunch of really, really cool things on the go. One last thing really quickly about the last event that we had in Mexico. That was our first beta. It was supposed to be our only beta. But because it went so well and I wanted to get more content, when we were in Mexico, we had all these great workshops and we filmed them all. We're going to roll those into the course. So if you come into Cohort 2, you're going to be able to take advantage of all the experiences that we had in Mexico within the Filmpreneur 101 course. The cool thing is if we come together again in Yosemite, we're going to continue filming, get more content for the next group. So you can kind of see what I'm doing with these betas. But this next one is the only beta I'm doing. I'm not doing any more betas after this. We'll have plenty of content after that. The last thing I want to talk about is our first theme of the first cohort was the business of filmpreneurship. We covered a lot of topics from business planning to investment to mergers and acquisitions and partnerships, all this business stuff that's critical for filmmakers. And trust me, I went to film school. I didn't learn about any of that stuff. I really should have went to business school first, then figured out how to be a filmmaker. But I learned this through hard knocks. This particular theme of this cohort, we're going to go over all the exact same stuff, but we're going to be angling a little bit more about the psychology of storytelling and how we as filmpreneurs can actually shift the way society thinks about things and really start shifting the score of the game. Let's not even call it story war, the story game that's happening right now. How do we start sharing stories of values that are really going to make us a stronger and more empathetic society where the middle comes back again? We're not just left and right. We are playing in the same playground right in the middle. Super important. I actually have some warm tea here. There we go. So I'm going to bring in just a couple minutes from Elaine, Xav, and Tasha. Elaine, and then, by the way, folks, this is not scripted. We haven't had a chance to even go through this. I just know that out of the 15 folks that came on the first Filmpreneur experience, lives were changed, especially this guy's life. I could it's hard to explain. I can't even put it into words, really. But why don't we start with you, Elaine? Maybe start with more on the spiritual level, perhaps, and then tactical. And maybe I'll get all three of you to kind of follow that format.
Well, hello, everybody. Just a second. Do I need to put my video on, Greg? Oh, there we go. No, okay. So thank you, Greg, for having me on, and thank you for inviting me to participate in the Filmpreneur in Mexico. It really was amazing on many levels. So I went there with, I wasn't even sure what to expect from the speakers and everything else that was going to happen. And the connections that were made were really on a soul level. I mean, when you think about the love economy, it really was a gathering of people who have a common interest in people, planet, profit, and I like to add in purpose. So it was an incredible experience that when I came back, I wasn't even sure what was going on in my life. It was like, wow, what do I do now with this? I came back changed. And after about 4 or 5 days, I sat down, I went, okay, who do I need to contact next? So of the people that I met there were 4 or 5 people who really, we really resonated, the energy resonated. And so I reached out, and I actually have speaking gigs. I have some film projects I'm working on. I've had meetings with people. Being part of Filmpreneur has increased my own community, in addition to being, becoming part of this amazing Filmpreneur community. And that's really what it is. It's a community of people who care, and they want you to do well. They see what you have, and everybody's lifting you up so that you can get there.
Elaine, thank you. That was awesome. Thank you so much for that. And another quick thing about what we've been developing here is this is a perfect example of co-leadership and co-creation. This is not a Greg Hemmings thing. I want to make that clear. Elaine put her hand up and said, let me help you produce this. And we did, and when we were there, I had 2 of our filmpreneurs say, listen, we'll film it, and actually 3, because Tasha also put her hand up last minute to help too. And we had Chris Harrigan, we had Will Sardinsky as well, help us, capture all this stuff. So everybody believes in this. This is not like a product that you're buying from me. I want that to be clear. This is something that we are creating together, and however you want to jump in and be part of, it's just adding to the movement. So Zav, why don't we bring you in, brother? And I'm going to bring you back in later, Zav, to talk about what our next cohort's going to look like. But just your experience.
It was great. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining Greg and Elaine and everybody else being here. We had an amazing time. It was, Greg knows I was struggling to get there because I just had a lot going on, and I had to be like, Greg had to just say, you're going to be with a community of people who are doing the stuff that we want to do in life. And it ended up being just incredibly powerful and fun and free. And I think one of the big takeaways for me was that there are so many people out there who are wanting to use content for social impact right now. And learning how to actually do that and meeting with people who are up to that same game was really inspiring. And it evoked a whole bunch of creativity and conversations. And like Elaine said, a lot of new business that was unexpected when we got there. I don't think any of us had ourselves set up that we were going to leave with a whole new path for business or a funnel. And I think we all left with the inspiration and the movement when we came back just to keep going. So that's kind of all I want to share about it right now, Greg. It was so beautiful and beautifully done and executed by you and Elaine and the rest of the team. I was really proud to be part of that thing. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Zav. And in a few minutes, folks, you're going to hear how, the experience that Zav had there. And, Zav and I go way back, but it really coalesced. We're like, why don't we bring our 2 camps together? And, Zav's got this amazing camp coming up that Filmpreneur is going to be partnering with. And it's super exciting. And this is just the spirit of what we're doing. And I just have to reiterate that concept of co-leadership and co-creation is magical when we're creating movements. And this, I don't know of many other, capitalist-based movements that are so focused on changing the narrative and making the world a better place. This feels like a social movement, but this is a social capitalism movement. And I've never used those words together before until tonight. Really interesting. Now, Tasha, I gotta give Tasha some really interesting intro. And Tasha, I might even get you to spend a little bit more time explaining who you are and the background you come from. But Tasha has spent the last 10 years literally making hundreds of millions of dollars for people through the videos that she makes in the internet marketing world. And she's another example of a co-collaborator. Once we met in Mexico, we are going to be launching another session with John Simon, another filmpreneur. We're heading to Greece in September for a filmpreneur in Greece, and we're focusing specifically on how to become internet marketers and using film to accelerate your internet business. And that's exactly where Tasha's coming from. So Tasha, why don't you come on, let us know a little bit about, where you're coming from personally, but also how did Filmpreneur connect with you and we're only 2 weeks back, so we've got a lot of relationship to build ahead of us. But yeah, love to hear your testimony.
Wow. Okay. Can you hear me?
Well, give her,
Yeah.
keep her within 3 or 4 minutes, of course. But
Okay, great. So I just want to make sure you guys can hear me. Let's see a little bit about, I'll give you my background. First, I just want to say with my story and my passion and really what is behind me being a filmmaker. I know we talked about this and you think it's a powerful story. A lot of us think it's a powerful story. I come from a background where I had a lot of difficulties growing up and a lot of negativity, and grew up with a manic depressive mother who tried mentally and physically abusing me, killing me. But I transcended that. And through dealing and watching her, today she's my best friend, and the power of forgiveness is a very, very powerful thing. In the process that I went through, I want to share with the world how to get over that. So I really want to motivate people, inspire people, bring people's message to the light and spread that around the world, give love to everybody. I actually, Greg, have a speaking tour coming up where I'm going all to universities, psychology departments, and I'm going to be speaking about my story. So I'll be inviting you guys in and showing you that progress and how I'm creating my speaking career with also filmmaking and marketing that. But a little bit of my background, been a filmmaker since a young child. You hear my story inspired me to bring that story to the world and make a movie out of it one day. But about 10 years ago, I answered a Craigslist ad and I accidentally got into this internet marketing event. And I was there at the event and I was like, is this a scam? And, there's a lot of players out there in the internet marketing field, and we see them and we get advertised by Facebook all the time, the big platform of Facebook. But I saw some awesomeness in it and I saw an opportunity for me. I said, whoa, this is where I can merge personal development and utilize internet marketing to take my film business to the next level one day. So I started to really immerse myself with these motivational speakers, these internet marketers. And so for the last 10 years, I've been creating content for these guys, helping them make millions. I've been behind the cameras, watching their strategies, their tips, their tricks on how they are creating, big cash. And, about half of them I don't resonate with, half of them are really in the conscious development aspect. And I've just kind of now separated myself from really working for these guys full time because I see how they're creating the cash. I see how they're doing it. Now I want to revolutionize, take that on a different conscious level and bring it into our market as well, and teach and empower filmmakers, the use of really advertising yourself. It's really amazing, the power of the internet, and it's the future. The power of filmmaking is the future. All of this ties together. So that is some of my background. Now the Filmpreneur, what that did for me was just amazing. I was in this transition now where I'm getting away from working full time for these internet marketers and not really resonating with still creating content with some of them that aren't on the conscious level. So I'm going back into my full-time business and really creating out of love and my passion and following my heart. So I found this at the right time, and being with you guys in Mexico was really a spiritual awakening from, okay, you're 9 to 5, 20 hours a day for these guys. Now you're full-time, Tasha, in your heart. Let's go teach people, how to do it. That was a transition for me. And being there with everybody gave me a chance to also express myself and my love for what I do and really inspire everybody around me on a different level. Because in this realm of filmmaking, we don't always get like-minded people hanging out with us. We're always on set, or we're here, we're doing this job, we get it done. We don't go home and sit down and say, okay, what can we create next, guys? Because we're trying to just really make a living out of it. So I found myself with a community of people. And yes, the business deals were amazing. This is going to go to my deathbed with all the business deals that we're going to make. It was really inspiring to see each of us openly share, right? And the ideas that were created just from sharing, with getting everybody's perspective, was worth 100 $1,000 worth of coaching for an entire year. And actually from one of our filmpreneurs, I've got an idea with them that's sparking my nonprofit and taking my speaking mission around the US to create a documentary and make a bigger impact. I've put the pieces together while I was there in a pool at night at 2 a.m. networking with these guys. So the opportunities of love and growth and connection with all of us, with like-minded people. I'm so grateful for the opportunity of being there and meeting these people.
Tasha, thank you so much. Yeah, like I'm just beaming hearing your voice on this, and you know, I am. It's not that I didn't expect such magic to happen. It's just I'm just so thrilled that it did. You know, and you brought so much to the table, Tasha, and it was so cool to meet you for the very first time. That's the other cool thing is there's a ton of people I just met in person for the first time when we were there, which is really a demonstration of how people want this and need it and are hungry for it. So thank you so much, Tasha. I want to respect everybody's time, and it's 8:30. I've got booked to 9. I'd like to finish us earlier than that, so we're gonna keep blowing through. However, I skipped a slide about the learning side. The learning part is why I started it initially. I actually thought I was creating, you know, an e-learning tool that, you know, people could read and be inspired and learn something and move on. But the community side that popped out of that first beta, I was like, wow, there's something so much more powerful. That being said, one of the filmpreneurs who I felt was probably the most vocal in helping me with feedback on the learning modules is my friend Will, somebody who I also only met for the first time when we were in Mexico. And Will's coming from Colorado. And Will, why don't you just give us like 2 minutes, man, on the online component, even the fact that it's a work in progress, and but just the importance of learning and learning together, etc. What were some of your thoughts on that experience?
Yeah, let's see. So there's a whole online module side before this whole summit happened, which was usually, we had things sped up so that we could finish in time for the summit, but it's probably going to be, excuse me, like probably 1 to 2, like 15 to 30 minute video modules kind of, which were a lot of Greg's story and learning from Greg's story, and then homework attached to that was kind of about, you know, finding people who you want to mentor you, or thinking about what your purpose is, or how to pitch your projects, or a new project to pitch, a give and an ask, what you can offer to the rest of the filmpreneur community, asking for things that you could use help on. So yeah, Greg and I are working more to keep developing that and add a lot more content to it. There will also probably be everything from this first filmpreneur group from our Mexico summit that we recorded that's going to end up as information in there too. But it's kind of a chance to get to know the community remotely through those webinars each week, and then you have stuff to discuss from the modules put on this online platform that Greg created. So it's a good way to start to build the community in advance and kind of have a baseline and a lot of stuff to start to think about as connections start forming among people.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Will. And Will, thank you for all the extra love you're putting into it, man. We spent a lot of time on the phone finding ways to make cohort number 2 even that much more valuable. So much gratitude, Will, for all that energy, man.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks, brother. So beta cohort number 2, we got one more chance to do this. You know, this is, you know, we're not at the point of making this a product where we're making profits or big revenues yet. We are at the point right now where we're creating price points to get people in so we can prove a model, start to create a real stellar global community, but do it in a place where it's not going to break the bank. You know, that's very important during beta phases, because I really expect feedback and I expect honest testimonials, etc. But we're going to squeeze another one in because we're actually going to go live to the world in the fall. And in the fall, there's going to be a much different price point, of course, because it's not going to be beta, it's going to be live. And we're going to keep on building this. And don't worry, in the fall when we actually launch this, it will be a considerably higher price, but that doesn't mean you can't be involved. I mean, like the price point goes from 0 all the way up to whatever it's going to be, because a movement is not something that you buy yourself into. However, we are going to be having packages to service this movement. So earlier on, I gave you the Facebook address and the email newsletter. That's step 1 to all the free resources. And we're going to continue having amazing free resources, including monthly webinars and a whole bunch of really cool things with experts to, to keep this movement going. And, that's really just open to the whole community who's engaged and signed up even just for the free engagement. We want to film more live content for the e-learning course, kind of like what Will was saying. Will and I went through, there's a lot of great content in there right now, but there's not enough. So this is why we want to do it again. And we're going to do it in Yosemite this time and continue filming our programming so that when we actually go live in the fall, we can completely justify whatever price tag we put on it. Another reason why we want to do a beta cohort number 2 is we want to prove the model. We want to make this thing smooth and groovy and get the right people in on these first 2 cohorts that have the spirit of co-creation and growth and the spirit of being a founder, a co-founder, being in the founding two cohorts of something that's going to be very special. And we want to explore this new theme of the psychology of story. And this is going to be a good kind of transition point over to Xav, to bring Xav back in. And we have decided to bring 2 beautiful tribes together. Xav is going to explain who he is and what he does with his tribe and community and company with Evokes Life, and what he has been planning for the Evokes content camps before we chose together about a month ago to say, why don't we bring both of our tribes together and share space on the same property and even share content and dine together, break bread together, party together, have some drinks together, learn together, inspire together, and accelerate this collective movement together. So Xav, why don't you pop back on? You're driving right now, so you probably don't see the bullet points, but let me just tell you the bullet points really quick. I said, explain what Evokes is, explain Evokes content camps, explain how Filmpreneur and Evokes are partners, what can filmpreneurs expect at the camp, the neuroscience of storytelling, and the beauty of Yosemite and the camp. Give her, my brother. If you're there. That was an awesome lead up. Xav, you there, buddy? Oh, allow to talk. Okay, let me see if that.
There you go.
Nice. Look, it was all my fault. I was like, where's Xav? Oh, I got to unmute you. Okay. Xav, you're on, brother. And tell people where you're driving now. I'm curious to know where you are right now.
Well, I'm about to drive by this massive wind farm on my way to Yosemite, which usually cuts off cell service. So if I drop off, then someone's going to take over, right, Greg?
Yeah, you got it, brother. Give her.
Okay, good. So I'm on my way to Yosemite, and I moved from San Francisco to Yosemite last year just because I was really committed to alter the kind of the quality, the design of my life from being in the city all the time to being more connected to the earth. And Greg and I went to Panama last year at a really cool event, and we started designing a camp called, it was just camp we were creating. And one of the areas that my company, Evokes, has been involved in is understanding more about how the brain functions and how content creators currently don't really have an understanding how the brain works. They operate fairly emotionally, but without a deep understanding around brain science. So we've been engaging with neuroscientists, which we have one on staff, and brain scientists to understand what can we teach the content creation community, from journalists who are writing news to bloggers to social media folks, to get a deeper understanding on how to steer the human brain so it's not just getting reactive all the time, but actually writing content that will have people take real actions that make a difference in the world for them and others. And we've all been impacted by marketing. We've all been manipulated by marketing. We've seen the impact of unconscious creators, or sometimes really conscious and malicious creators, trying to manipulate us to spend more money, to give up our time freely so we have less of it to spend with our family and friends enjoying life. So we set out to have our television platform be connected to the neuroscience community so that when we develop content and we curate content, it starts creating a bigger ethos of social good on the planet. And how we fit in so well with Filmpreneur is we're like-minded. You know, Greg and I share a lot of values. We're both benefit corporations. We're both members of Social Venture Network, and we're committed to use our businesses to positively impact society and the world. So the design of the camp is really, it holds hands really well with Filmpreneur. And we have programming designed to bring in neuroscientists to spend some time with all of us. So when we're out there writing, creating, directing, producing, shooting, we have an idea of how it's going to be received by human beings. And in that, I think there's going to be a lot of great ways and great times to experiment, to see and test our content better and see what impact it's having in the world. So that's what we're doing. And the place we're doing it is a place called the Yosemite Mountain Bug Resort. Bug is a fun name, but it's a really cool resort just about 25 minutes outside of Yosemite National Park, which is just an extraordinary park where we'll all get a chance to spend some time to see the most amazing faces that are on the planet. So yeah, it's going to be a great place to connect with each other. We have Evokes has a lot of really cool sponsors coming in and doing some cool stuff with us. We're working with Adobe, who's bringing in some content experts and some technical experts to be there as a resource center with us to help us hone our skills if we're using Premiere, and we have some other tricks in store for y'all as well.
Incredible. Zav, thank you so much, man. And you know what? You stayed with us the whole time. So God bless those windmills. Okay.
Bless you, brother. Bye.
Thank you, brother. Okay, so let's just jump right into logistics. In a couple seconds, I'm going to go to our next slide. I'm going to give you a little hint. What's the deal, Greg Hemmings? We'll get to that in a minute. Logistics. Okay, Elaine is such, like I said earlier, like Filmpreneur mom. She put her hand up right at the beginning of Filmpreneur Cohort 1. She's like, Greg, I want to help. And all the webinars, I ended up like passing the logistics over to Elaine because she's freaking awesome. So Elaine, pop on. Let's just blow through this really quick. You can see that the bullets I gave you here. Why don't you give us, oh look, and I spelled summit wrong. Isn't that nice? Logistics for the summit in Yosemite. Anyway, I'm sure you can forgive me. I'm sick. Hop on there, Elaine. Give us a rundown.
Well, hello again, everybody. This is so exciting, and thanks again for everybody for being on the call. And while you were all chatting, I was over on Facebook sharing this live. So there's some people over on Facebook watching this as well. So good job, Greg. So how to sign up? Head over to that website right now, filmpreneur.net/registration, and you can see what this is all about, how to get to the next step. And then when does the course start? Well, as soon as you register, sign up and pay, the course starts. You can get in and you can start working on all the modules that are in there and that Will talked about earlier, the amazing storytelling that Greg has done. And he really has opened up all of sort of his, you know, the good, the bad, and the ugly of running a film business, and is really helping through those modules. And what we do with those modules is we do group webinars. So they will start on roughly June 26th. So we're looking at Tuesday, June 26th for webinar 1, July 3rd for webinar 2, and then we are going to do the 2nd or 3rd and 4th live in Yosemite. And we have some really fun stuff planned around doing that, actually heading into the park and really integrating being in the park and storytelling and finishing those webinars. So that'll be pretty exciting. The logistics for Summit in Yosemite, we are working on programming right now. We've got a great lineup of speakers. We have, and we're bringing in the neuroscience, the stuff that's happening with the parallel program with EVOC. So it's going to be exciting. We've got 2 different groups, much like we had in Playa Viva, and there's times when the groups come together which is amazing. And one of the big things for me is the family style dining, where you know, everybody's eating together and you never know who you're going to sit next to, and there are some deep, meaningful connections that happen from that. So it's awesome. So as we get our different speakers and we're filling out our programming, we'll be launching that. And the next thing, Filmpreneur will help you move from freelancer to an entrepreneur. So if you want to do a little Googling, Google Elaine Shannon. There's an article on me recently in Huddle on how I am a freelancer. So, you know, I'm a freelance producer, but I'm also an entrepreneur. And I think as an entrepreneur, what we're doing is we're creating income beyond the hours that we are sitting in front of our computers, writing and producing and editing and whatever it is that you're doing. So how do you move your business from freelancer to entrepreneur? Filmpreneur will help you with that. The in-person, the community, I can't say enough about the community and the family style dining and the late night meetings and the early morning connections and the people that you're going to meet in Filmpreneur, and especially in Yosemite, are people that are so outside your network you would not normally have that opportunity. I mean, think about it. Adobe content experts. Thanks, Zav. That is amazing. You know, that's just one of the amazing things that'll happen in Yosemite. So it'll introduce a new way of communicating, and the whole neuroscience. I mean, we live by the hero's journey in all of our storytelling. Well, how do we change that? How do we elevate it from, as Greg said, fear to love? Like, how do we bring the love economy and using neuroscience into our storytelling so that we can use the skills, talents, and knowledge that we have and the power to make the world a better place?
Amazing. Elaine, thank you for that. That was awesome. And you nailed it like so quick. That was incredible. So Elaine has offered to continue helping me with logistics. So if you're going to get involved with us, folks, you're going to get to know Elaine really well, and you're going to fall in love with her. Elaine, thank you for everything that you're doing, all the love that you put into this. Much, much appreciated. And one thing I realized that we didn't put on this agenda was Raj. And Raj, I'm gonna throw you on the spot here, brother. Raj, you are promoted to panelist. I hope you're there. You might just be like saying that you're there, but maybe you're at the washroom or drinking a beer or something. Are you there, Raj? Oh, I totally called him out, didn't I? That was really awesome of me. Raj is going to be putting on a film festival or organizing a film festival there, which I really don't have too many details on yet. Oh, Raj, let me see here.
Yes.
You're on. Okay, can you hear me okay, buddy?
I can hear you.
Okay, Raj, is there anything you want to give our crew on info on what you and Xavier are cooking on the film festival side, or is it too early to say?
It's still cooking. It's still in the early stages of the oven there. The oven's heated up though, so it's gonna be a great conclusion to the week. It's not necessarily, we're figuring out what part of it is going to be fitting in with the programming, but at the very least, we're going to have a bunch of films for the inaugural Imaginal Film Festival, which will then be an annual event in Mariposa, California. But all of you guys will get to participate in the very first one at Filmpreneur in July. And we're currently programming a bunch of short films, all with a social conscience theme. And it should be a great way to finish up the week and have some fun and see some content. And for people participating, there will be some spots available if you have content that you want to share as part of the festival.
Oh my gosh, Raj, thank you so much. And sorry for not giving you a warning, but
it's all good. I love
the way I work at this point, Raj. I just, and for the rest of the people that know, sometimes I pulled people into the call with the cameras on, and sometimes they didn't have clothes on. So I'll be careful with that. Raj, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it, buddy. If you can mute yourself, that'd be great. So let's go to what's the deal, Greg Hemmings. It's almost like what's the frequency, Kenneth from REM. So what's the deal? So Elaine and I, after going through, because this fall, I'm going to be releasing this, and I suspect, folks, it's going to be in the $10,000 range, and that's expensive. And I never want price to be the thing that stops somebody from engaging. That's why we really have entry points into this movement and this experience from $0. But later on, it's probably going to be in the $10,000 to $12,000 range. And if you do a little bit of Google searching for masterminds in any industry, you're going to see that's kind of an entry point price for that. It's something that we have to grow into, in fact, as we kind of catch our stride. But if you don't mind bearing with me, I'm just going to go through some of the value points of what we're going to bring to the table. So with the offer that we have for this beta course deal, excuse me, is the Filmpreneur 101 online courses. And notice that that is plural. We have 3 courses in there right now. We've got Filmpreneur 101. We've got the beginning parts of the boiling point process, which is a thought leadership program. And we also have the brands as film storytellers workshop, which has a number of modules. We're going to keep adding incredibly valuable courses to this roster as time goes on. Once you get in, you've got a lifetime membership to the Filmpreneur 101 online course. Right now, that's got a value of $1,500. And for Canadians, I apologize, but we're talking US dollars here until we get a stronger dollar. But Chris Harrigan is on the line, and maybe we should put this all in cryptocurrencies at some point, and we can even this out a little bit. We're also going to have 2 weekly mastermind classes prior to the event, which has a value of $500. This is not saying this costs $500. We're just putting values to this stuff. There's going to be a 30-minute coaching call with this guy named Greg Hemmings, which is a value of $300. Now, listen, I got to tell you, putting a value on my time is difficult, because if any of you know me, I'm a yes guy. I love all of you. I love all my friends. I love my community, and I always want to make it work. To go have coffee, have beers, talk about the business, whatever it is. Elaine has helped me in this. And Elaine, again, unscripted, maybe you can help bring some context to when trying to figure out what the time of an entrepreneur is worth for taking them away from the day-to-day of actually building the business. What did you learn? I think you were inspired by Dan Martell a little bit, Elaine. I don't know if you're on there right now or not.
Well, yes, I am. And so Greg and I have had a lot of discussions about this. And so we live in a world where we have to feed our babies and we have to put a value or a dollar value currency towards our time. And I've been following a guy here in New Brunswick. His name is Dan Martell, and he's quite amazing. He created a company called Clarity.fm because what was happening was people were, hi, can we go for a coffee? Can we do this? Can we do that? And he was spending a lot of his time, at his valuable time. We all have 168 hours every week. He was spending a lot of his valuable time helping other people, which is great. But what that does is it takes away from how he can help on a grander scale, right? So what Greg is doing with, the love economy and social, just a second, I wrote it down here, social capitalism, Greg's time is valuable. So I sat him down and said, hey, we need to put a dollar value on your time. And it doesn't mean that you're saying no to everybody. It just means that you're going to say yes to the things that you really need to do. And we put a framework around that.
Thank you, because you know me, I hate selling myself, especially in that context. But I thank you, Elaine, for helping me back up on that a little bit. But just as far as value, we wanted to add that into the list. So thanks for that, Elaine. 1-year access to the monthly Filmpreneur Mastermind webinars valued at $1,700. These are very special, folks. We're going to have these monthly, and this is where we're going to bring in experts. And I'm not talking about just any old experts. We're talking, if we want to learn about what's the best way to pitch to Discovery Channel, I want to have a Discovery Channel production executive on as our guest. That's the level of what we're aiming for. Eventually, it's going to become a subscription model. Right now, we're just piling it out, and everything's going to be connected in with this next cohort, essentially as a bundle. Access to the video content from Filmpreneur Playa Viva, value $500. So if you didn't come to Playa Viva to our Mexico trip, we filmed it all. We had a couple glitches on a few of them, unfortunately, but most of the content was filmed. And Chris Harrigan from Cinetech in Moncton is editing them together as we speak. And that's going to be part of the course. So that's a lot of fun as far as extra value. Lifetime access to all future evolutions of Filmpreneur. It comes with the deal. All access pass to the Evokes camp in Yosemite, which is access to the content. The Yosemite workshops that Filmpreneur is designing. We also get all the accommodations, food, taxes, and airport transfers. Lifetime induction. Can you guys tell I'm trying to hold back a cough? Give me 1 second here. Okay, that was nice and quick. Lifetime induction to the global Filmpreneur community. Value is priceless to that, because honestly, that is where the value is. And when I added up all of that, it's a $12,000 chunk of value. So we're gonna make this, look at this, I feel like a car salesman here. $3,000 gets you everything, one time only. I threw that in as a joke because I wanted to make that voice as if we're a car commercial. But yeah, seriously, folks, this is what it is. And not that I need to say this, but this is a break-even price for us at this point. Like I said, we're in the beta mode. We're not here to make money. What our intention is to come out of the beta season without losing money, because we are laying the foundation of something very special. And I think the point I need to make is we will never have it this cheap again. And that's not a sales tactic. That just is logic. We won't be able to do it like this again. So if you're interested, here is your link, folks, filmpreneur.net/registration. And I can't bring the price down any further, because some of these more shisty internet marketers, they'll say, if you're registered tonight, we'll give you $500 off. Well, I can't do that, just because then I'll be losing money. I'll be paying you guys to come. But what I would do is, because we really want to get people signed up immediately, and we only have 15 spots, is if anybody does sign up tonight, and I will extend that tonight to within the next 24 hours, I'll extend that one-on-one direct coaching your business time, those half hours, and I'm going to give you 3 more of those that you can access me anytime. And honestly, the way I am, if I say I'm giving you 4, it's probably going to be 6 or many more. I'm the worst sales guy in the world. So, but I'm just saying, I would like to offer something for any of you who want to jump in sooner than later. Please do. And it's going to be magical. And there's, I'd say, a third of the folks, or maybe a quarter of the folks who are on the call have been through Filmpreneur already. And these are people that believe in this stuff, and they believe in the community that we're building, and they want to be connected to you as well. So as you come into Filmpreneur cohort number 2, you're going to be introduced to cohort number 1. And this is the beginnings of making a massive movement and a community of people that care about this stuff. And not only that, we're hiring each other. Let's not forget about this thing. Like for Hemmings House, we are becoming essentially an agency of social impact film. So we need editors, we need shooters, we need producers. It does, but same with everybody else who's in Filmpreneur. We need each other to hire each other, support each other, partner with each other, advise each other. That's what Filmpreneur is about. And gosh darn it, we're at 8:58 and 13 seconds. I can't believe we did it. I wanted to open it up for questions. We do not have time for that as a form right now, but my email is on the slide, greg@gregoryhemmings.com. If you have any questions, please send me an email, or just hop onto that Facebook page. That's all good too. We'd love to have you on. We start immediately. Last time we sold out our 15 spots quite quickly. I suspect it's going to be the same on this one. If somebody needs to discuss a payment plan, we're definitely not against looking at how that works. We don't have anything specifically in mind, but if you really want to make it but can't make 3,000 work right off the top, let's just have a sidebar discussion, see how we can make it work for you. It's more important that you come and you come do it in a way that's sustainable for you. So with that, I want to say thank you so much. I'm going to continue blathering on just so I've got the pride to say I can end a webinar exactly at 1 hour. I've got 45 seconds to do that, so that's amazing. I want to say deeply, truly, sincerely from my heart, thank you for investing an hour with me tonight, especially with my voice the way it is and and that cough. It's all mind over matter, I know. I had to say goodbye to the Love Economy in Boston on Friday because of my illness, and I had to say goodbye to Vancouver Sustainable Brands this week. But I am here, and I'm energized, and I made it almost the whole way through without coughing because I'm just so thrilled and energized by this whole concept. Thank you for all the love, everybody. Thank you for being involved. Thank you for being on this webinar with me tonight, and share this with people that you feel could benefit. Okay, bye-bye. Love y'all.